One of the biggest questions you probably have is how much is it going to cost me monthly to travel like I intend to? Well, today I'm going to walk you step by step in gathering that information that you will absolutely need to build a true budget. By the end of this video, you will know how to find updated pricing, how to compare the different destinations you intend on traveling to, and how to build a budget that works for your travel style. So welcome back to Travel for One, solo travel over 50. First, you need to decide on the type of budget you intend to use. You want to decide how much per month that you can comfortably spend, plus 10% on top of that for any surprises. If you plan on being a long-term traveler, I highly recommend this budget method. It will be predictable for you, and it will be just like paying your monthly bills at home that you've been doing for years. If you haven't had a chance to watch my last video, it walked you through 3 different budget methods. It will help you determine the style of travel you will be doing based on the method of budgeting. Before you even start looking at the cost associated with travel, I highly recommend you set up a page for expenses to track the information that you're going to find. I used something like this or this. Just as long as you have something that you can use and just repeat, which with each of the destinations you anticipate visiting. Let's start with the biggest expense that you're going to have. Accommodations is going to be your largest expense, I can tell you. For accommodations estimates, you have to look at, are you going to be a hotel traveler, an Airbnb type traveler, or a combination of both? Take 3 to 4 different destinations you plan on visiting and go to airbnb.com and look up moderate accommodation prices. Also filter it for at least 28 days because that is where you're going to get the biggest monthly discount. And those discounts really add up over the course of a year. That monthly discount normally applies to the majority of Airbnb owners. Booking.com is another really good resource to look up hotel cost and apartments. They have a wide range of different types of accommodations. After you've used Booking.com for several of your accommodations, you will start seeing discounts applied as a Genius member. Average that by the number of months you plan on traveling. So if you're spending $1,000 a month in accommodations and you're going for 6 months, now you know it's going to be approximately $6,000 for your accommodations. For a couple, you get to share accommodations. So I would add 10 to 15% of that cost because you do have fees in Airbnb for a second person staying in the accommodation. Or you just might need a little bigger accommodation than, let's say, a 1-bedroom apartment. So I would again add 10 to 15% for that accommodation cost. Make sure you're taking 3 to 4 different cities in each country you're planning on visiting and write down the modest accommodations expense that you plan on either staying for an Airbnb type property or the hotels in that area. If you're open to things like house sitting or pet sitting, Trusted House Sitters or Nomad is two of the best resources you can use for that. They apply to pretty much anywhere in the world that you might be open to house sitting or pet sitting. This type of resource really saves you money because you're swapping your service for a free place to stay. And you can stay in some pretty nice accommodations, but you really have to do your research with the person that you plan on swapping this service for. The cost of food is next. Food widely depends on the area that you're in and how often you see yourself either cooking at home or going out to restaurants. Some people are fine eating a substantial breakfast and maybe having a light lunch or a late dinner. Other people really need 3 meals a day. To get the cost of average food prices, use Numbio.com. Not only do they have local grocery expenses, but restaurants in the area as well. And you can get those figures from pretty much anywhere in the world. Another way you can look at this, if you plan on doing quite a bit of eating out, is to use Google Maps. Put in the area you plan on staying in, and then look up different restaurants. A lot of times there will be menu pictures on each of those restaurants that give you an estimate of the cost. While you're in the Google's map looking at the area that you plan on staying in, also look for grocery stores in that area. Is it going to be walkable to reach a grocery store? Places like the UK have grocery stores of Tesco, and you can look up grocery prices for them as well. On your worksheet or spreadsheet that you're using to track these prices, now you can add in a weekly food budget. For example, cooking 70% of the week and eating out the other 30%. But now you can estimate approximately how much you need weekly for your monthly budget. Now for transportation expenses. Your transportation is going to include flights, buses, trains, and then local transit that you'll be using. Things like Grab or Uber or Bolt in different locations. Use Google Flights for international and those domestic flights that you plan on taking. One of the best resources I use for transportation between different cities is Rome to Rio. Not only do they show the different options of trains, buses, or flights, it also gives you a really good estimate on the cost for each of those transportation methods. I really use this resource quite often. When I recently was traveling from Albania to Greece to Turkey, I used this very resource to determine ferries that I could take and short flights that I would need to take to get to Greece. If you plan on taking extended trips on, let's say, buses, for instance, getting from Tirana, Albania to Saranda, you can go to those specific websites and put in your destinations. It'll give you a really good estimate for how much that bus ticket normally costs in each of the different countries. Excursions. This is the fun part. This would include city passes, museums, boat trips you plan on taking, and those day trips you plan on taking, for instance, from Turkey over to Greece to explore Rhodes from Ferry. Get Your Guide is one of the best resources to find those estimated costs in those cities that you plan on visiting. You can also look at local websites for low-cost excursions or those free walking tours that you can do in most cities. You can really budget $100 to $200 per month for excursion cost, or more if you plan on really doing a significant amount of excursions. Additional costs that you really want to put on your budget is cell phone coverage. Are you going to use your phone service from your home country, or are you going to get a SIMS card from a place like AirB&B? You'll also want to look at travel insurance. There are several different ones to choose from. Safety Wing and Phase Insurance is two of the best ones that I've actually gotten really good service from. I happen to use Chase Business Inc., and I have read their rules and regulations, and they seem to cover a lot more than some of the other credit cards for travel that are out there. Okay, so now it's time to build that monthly budget. Now you'll want to take accommodations, food, transportation, excursions, phone service, insurance services, and any other monthly expenses you see yourself having each month. For instance, Netflix or a VPN. Now simply combine all the expense numbers that you've gathered. For instance, accommodations, $1,200 a month. Food, $600 a month. Transportation, $400 a month. Excursions, $200 a month. Plus the other small expenses that I've already spoken about. Now repeat this for 3 or 4 different countries that you want to visit. You will quickly see which countries are going to be within your comfort zone when it comes to budgeting. Don't forget to add medical cost if you're not 100% covered, and a 10 to 15% emergency fund to your budget each month. Building a travel budget doesn't have to be overwhelming. By taking the time to get updated expense estimates for accommodations, food, transportation, and those excursions you plan on doing, you'll know exactly what you expect to spend each month. This is going to give you the confidence in knowing, yes, this is absolutely affordable for me to do, or I need to step back and look at this in a different light. It's going to allow you to have a predictable monthly budget. When you're able to set up that monthly budget and know exactly what you need each month, it will take the pressure off of worrying about your expenses. In the description below, I will have links to each of the websites that I use for easy access for you, so that you can also use those same websites when you are doing your research.